Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of For FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields.
And I'm student meteorologist Raquel Nakora. And I know plenty of people are recovering after Halloween with going out partying or even trick-or-treating.
I didn't go out partying or trick-or-treating because, I had stuff to do inside with schoolwork. So, I was inside, munching on those candy, munching off the sugar, loving the candy. So, that was my Halloween night, Raquel.
I'm sorry for you, Troy, but as many of our viewers did notice, it was relatively warmer than it was last year.
Yes, and just to give you a recap of the month of October, as you mentioned, it was very, very warm outside. We actually had 2 days in the entire month of October where we had temperatures at or above 90 degrees.
Wow, talk about being hot. In October, we didn't really get our first cold spell until like the third week of
October, exactly, and just really was quite a change, for me, in fact, just being in the Northeast, I was just like, I want this cold weather to come, I want it to come, and now that it came, it's just like, woo, cold weather came. So,
it came and went, and that's the same problem we're going to see in November. It's going to be relatively warmer than we did see temperatures being last year, and that is due to the jet stream.
Yes, the jet stream is forecast to shift further north, and that's going to allow that warm weather, the air to pile up into our region and give us, a little bit of a taste still of summer, but it won't be as hot normally as it usually is.
Well, it'll be very much like Florida. Now we're going to take it over to Jake, and he's going to tell us what we can expect for the weekend.
Yeah, guys, and the first thing I noticed today when I stuck my head outside is it was a windy, humid, just moist day out there. But thankfully, over the next few days, we're expecting cooler and drier conditions. And if you want an extended look at that game day forecast, you're going to have to tune in later to the show. But right now, over in the west, not much going on. The big story today is going to be this guy over here moving off to the northeast, bringing moisture all the way from Washington, D.C. down to the Big Bend region. Right here we see the precipitation moving off. It is in fact raining right now in the city, but it's moving off towards the east, and as this continues to move off towards the east coast, drier conditions and cooler conditions are going to set in for the game day on Saturday. But in terms of that game day, a high of 80 is expected with clear and sunny conditions. So yes, that front will be out of here in time for tailgaters with the winds at 10 miles per hour. But back to the desk with Troy and Raquel.
Jake, well, I know we're going to see some rain here in Tallahassee, but although the Atlantic Ocean is relatively quiet, the Pacific Ocean is actually starting to bubble up a little bit.
Yes, and the new recently formed Tropical Depression 18E is located off the coast of Mexico and is expected to turn into Tropical Storm Sonia.
Sonia, very powerful name for a very powerful storm.
Really, Raquel? Because it sounds kind of weak to me, but oh well.
Well, along with the storm, it's supposed to bring some heavy rains, and that can cause flooding and mudslides. And we know that Mexico has already seen plenty of mudslides this summer.
Yes, and the forecasted path of what is expected to be Tropical Storm Sonia takes it right into the northern parts of Mexico, right, particularly the Baja California region. So really, folks there don't need any more rain.
Well, at least a weekend when it's making its way to California, and now bringing it back to Tallahassee with Jay. Jay, how's our region looking?
Well, our region looking very wet right now. Okay, it is pouring outside. You see that cold front coming in? It's bringing a lot of thunderstorms, so it's raining. So hopefully you have the umbrella and raincoat handy because it is really raining and getting wet outside. As we look at the current temperatures, 77 in Tallahassee, even though with that rain coming in, it's going to cool us off a little bit more. 79 in Quincy and 77 in Monticello. It's all in the upper 70s right now, but after that cold front, the temperatures start dipping down a little bit more. As you look at the current winds, look at Apalachicola, 16 miles per hour wind. That is a lot of gusts. Hopefully you don't have anything that can fly off easily because it sure did today. I know I had a hat on and I was trying to run after it, so that wasn't good for me. But when that cold front, after it moves out later on Friday, all the way up in the Saturday morning, we'll have nice warm temperatures coming in and a lot of sunshine. So when we start tailgating for the Miami game tonight, it will be very nice weather. And when we for that even later into 8 o'clock at night, when we play against Miami, if you're James, listen, if you're watching, you won't have to worry about the wind coming in because it will be nice, calm weather. And very cool one as well. So very nice for the tailgate and for the game. As we look at the satellite radar, You see that cold front coming in right now, bringing a lot of moisture and a lot of thunderstorms. So, but when that moves out later on tonight, we'll have some very nice, cool weather and very calm weather indeed. If at the Rivalry Music Festival, I know you better be prepared because that rain is definitely there right now. As you look at the forecast for tonight, it's going to be a bit wet. Later on, you still have some rain chances possible, but once that moves out into tomorrow, you have some very nice weather moving on. As you look at tomorrow's forecast, 80 degrees, great for tailgating. I know I'll be outside playing a little cornhole tomorrow, so it's going to be very fun temperatures all around. 80 in Tallahassee, 81 in Monticello, and 80 in Quincy. As you look at the 7-day forecast, we're going to go to the beautiful Doak Campbell Stadium. Prime time game, playing against Miami, our rivalry game, so we're going to be very pumped, very excited about that. 64 degrees, kickoff will be at 8 o'clock, so overall, we're going to be very excited when we play against the Canes. As you look at the beach forecast, not much to talk about except that if you're on the beach right now, it's probably raining, so hopefully you stay dry outside. And when you go to the boating forecast, like I said before, those winds definitely rocking the boat out there. So hopefully you stayed prepared and hopefully safe when you're outside on the boating. When you go into the 7-day forecast, when we fall back on Sunday, we had that hour change at 2 a.m. On Sunday, so hopefully you change your back clock an hour. Now let's send it off to Daphne with our Southeast.
Rocking the boat, Jay. I like that. Yeah, you mentioned we have the clouds, we have the rain. That is here to stay tonight. So if you have those outdoor plans, you want to keep that in mind and perhaps bring your umbrella if you are going outdoors. Okay, so here is the breakdown here. We have our cold front all the way draped here. Moving quickly already over Tallahassee. So if you are outside, I know you're not outside right now because you're watching the forecast, it is raining, folks. You definitely want to keep that in mind and potential severe weather tonight as well. We have a lot of rain and thunderstorms coming our way. So here is the future cast. As I put it into motion here, you can see the cold front moving through our region tonight and then clearing come tomorrow. If you have those plans for tailgating outside, perhaps you do because we have the UM and FSU game tomorrow. And kickoff is at 8 p.m. Keep that in mind. It's going to be clear weather for you. Okay, so here's that dew point that I was talking about. Moisture already increasing. This is since for 24 hours. So at this time yesterday, we are 7 degrees. Our dew point has gone up by 7 here in Tallahassee. Okay, so current conditions right now, not really pleasant if you're outdoors. We're talking rain, but temperatures, we're comfortable. 77 degrees in Tallahassee. Warmer for you in Orlando at 85 degrees. That's because that cold front is coming from the west to the east, so you will cool a couple degrees come tomorrow time. Okay, so tonight's forecast, like I mentioned, not the best night to call it outdoors here in Tallahassee because we have the rain in the forecast, but not bad in terms of temperature, 57 degrees for you in Tallahassee. And you can see the cooler versus the warmer. You can see the 40s and the 50s are up north, and the cooler you go up north, that's where the cold front is. So as that cold front passes us tonight, tomorrow we're talking 10 degrees cooler than we were tonight here. Okay, so tomorrow's forecast, we're talking sunshine, 80 degrees here in Tallahassee, 80 for you in Orlando, a little bit warmer for you in Miami, for you South Beach goers at 88 degrees. So almost at the 90-degree mark for you, and that's because that cold front is kind of up north coming down and only really affecting our temperatures come tomorrow time. Okay, well, for right now, we're just going to send it off to the desk here with Troy and Raquel.
Alrighty, thank you, Daphne. And, as Jay mentioned earlier, you should have mapped those winds in Tallahassee, so it's quite breezy right now with that, cold front, the gusts and gusty.
Yes, we did see that in
Northeast.
Tallahassee. We're experiencing up to 18-mile-per-hour gusts, and that's actually quite high, what we're used to here in Tallahassee. And that's not actually too high compared to what we're seeing in the Northeast.
Yes, take it all the way to the Northeast. They've saw gusts, particularly this morning around Central Park, in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. That's tropical storm force, so that just gives you an idea of how windy it's been in the Northeast so far.
And there's even reports that there are not necessarily reports, but power outages.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go. I finally got it out. Hopefully your power will not go out though. So power outages are expected tonight, and unfortunately for parts of the Northeast, they are expecting snow.
Yes, and I'm going to talk about that more international, and we're going to lead you to that. And folks, let's play a little game here. You look at that current conditions map. You see, let's play spot the cold front. And for those of you who know where the cold front is, it's that boundary right here between the warm temperatures in the southeast and very chilly temperatures in the northwest, 50 degrees in Denver, and that's due to the cold front that will be affecting on our weather going into the coming days. And you can see that on your satellite and radar, that humongous storm system that's pushing off towards the southeast. And we're going to zoom in the southeast right now. You see that cold front that is pushing up through in the I-10 region. So, folks traveling along there, we want to take it safe, especially around the Tallahassee region. But Zach will talk about more of that in your local coming up. And trucking along towards the northeast, again, there's that cold front that is pushing along and really on the I-95 corridor. It's really going to be not your best traveling day, but all along it's not going to be terrible, because you see it's pushing off. So even if you're traveling on the I-86 on the southern tier near it, not bad travels right there. But we do have also a little bit of showers, off towards the west. So, but all in all, the storm system is pushing off. So, it's not going to be a bad travel going on there. Trucking along towards the west coast, we have a little bit of upper level low spinning across the Rockies. Not, terrible amounts of rain or snow showers. So, really for traveling along the North Dakota, Billings, Montana, around, just if you want to ski up there, I highly encourage you to do that, because things are looking pretty good at the moment. And we shift further down towards the south, in the southwest, in the desert region, very good weather going on there right now. So Albuquerque and Phoenix, Arizona, very sunny weather. So having outdoor plans, go out and do that. Now, and just showing you once last time what's going on across the national. You see that storm system is pushing off across the southeast, and really, we're going to tap into that cooler weather as we head into the weekend. But as far as airport delays is concerned, nothing going on right now. Though we do want to make sure, Los Angeles, they do have an emergency going there right now. So just really, if you have any travel plans, just be on the lookout and check with your air traffic carriers. But as far as tonight's forecast is concerned, 56 degrees in Orleans, so very cool weather in that. And tomorrow's forecasts, we're more of the same, very good weather across much of the East Coast, with 80 degrees in Tallahassee for your game day. But let's toss off to your local with Zach. And Zach, are you excited about game day tomorrow?
Troy, there are no words to describe how excited I am about game day, but Jay had a very good local earlier today. He talked about a lot of stuff, and I'm going to kind of reiterate that and talk about the cold front as well. But let's start off with this temperature of 77 here in Tallahassee. You can see much cooler right there in Marianna and Bainbridge. That's because the cold front has already gone through, and it's starting to push its way over to us, our area, I should say. Currently, if you guys are watching out at your home, you may notice it's actually raining right now. So just stay indoors until that cold front passes. Those dew points still in the 70s, indicating a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. Those will go down this weekend, though, and it's a nice little change from what we've seen today. 18 miles an hour in Tallahassee, those winds are, indicating that cold front's pushing right on through over Tallahassee currently. And notice behind the front, they're coming in from the northeast, but in front of it, coming in from the south. So that really does indicate where the cold front is. As we go into our satellite and radar, you can see it easily right there. That huge line of storms draping all the way up to the mid-Atlantic, back to my old hometown of Yorktown, Virginia, right on up there. But those severe storms, we did have a little storm go through earlier today in Marianna that had a severe thunderstorm warning on it. So we can't rule out the possibility of maybe a severe storm or two, but we shouldn't actually be anticipating that due to a lack of daytime heating today, which you need for some of those severe storms. Moving, though, a little closer, there's a little pocket of more moderate rain. That front's starting to push through. We do have a little smaller one right here. So once this front does go through, we still will see a little more rainfall before the night is through. Your futurecast temps, though, look at that. Temps coming down into the 50s tonight. Quickly rebounding, though, into your 70s. We're forecasting a high of 80 degrees. It's going to be beautiful tomorrow, folks. I'm enjoying it. I know I'll be out there for game day, and I'm really excited. So if you want to go, I'd highly encourage ESPN's College Game Day starting at 9 a.m. So be there early enough. Also, let's go into tonight's forecast. 57 degrees. It is a bit wet right now, and that's going to continue, like I said, until about 8 or 9 o'clock before those wet conditions begin to taper off. 80 degrees for tomorrow, an amazing day. So go out to ESPN, go to the game if you have those tickets, and if not, just tailgate. Go tailgate. That's what I'll be doing for the majority of my day, trust me. And your 7-day forecast as I step out of the way. It's a beautiful forecast, sunny skies for the rest of it. 80 degrees, quickly rebounding to normal with those slight rain chances. But we're going to send it on to the desk with myself and Alex. So, Alex, how about that 7-day forecast?
Yeah, that 7-day forecast looks mighty fine until the beginning of the next work week, but worry about what's more important, that being the current temperatures. It looks very good, and kickoff temperature for 8 p.m. tomorrow looking around the lower 70s to upper 60s, so quite comfortable indeed.
Yes, I'm enjoying it. I mean, the game tomorrow, it's looking nice for kickoff as well. So, I mean, what would you say for a kickoff temperature? Probably around 62, 63?
Yes, possibly, and then also dropping into the upper 50s by the end of the night. So you can see that cold front starting to set in. You'll be able to feel it as well after the game. So.
And Sunday is going to be beautiful as well. So if you want to do anything outside, this weekend is the weekend to do it, for sure.
Yes, quite indeed. Tailgating, all those things are going to be pleasant, especially if you want to play a little bit of the...
Cornhole.
Cornhole, yes, that's the game, of course. But it's always going to be pleasant. And for a more pleasant look around Florida, we're going to take it now to John.
Yes.
You can see the change already on our maps with that cold front coming through. Cloudy here in Tallahassee and actually raining outside your door right now. Started to clear out in Pensacola, but Central and South Florida, they're seeing a mixture of sunshine and clouds as some of that the cloud cover is starting to spread into Central and South Florida. And temperatures are pretty much sat put right around 80 degrees along the west coast and a little bit warmer than that on the east coast. And we're seeing the change also in the dew points. They're starting to get a little bit cooler. Very, very, very muggy across most of Florida. That's a little bit oppressive out there as you step outside the door, that shirt right to your back. And it's also very muggy up in the upper levels of the atmosphere where the planes fly. There's a belt of very, very high dew points up in the mid to upper levels of the atmosphere. But what's next? Drier air coming in across Alabama and Mississippi right now. And this will be coming down towards the south and east as this cool front pushes on through over the next 12 to 24 hours. You can see the front here just coming on in. That rain is just now reaching us here in Tallahassee. And you'll see the front just to our west knocking on our door. And you also see some of those clouds that are starting to push in Central and South Florida. Those will be continuing to push over into the overnight hours. So it's not going to be getting as cool as we get into the next few hours, and it's not going to get as cool during the overnight hours as well. Some of those showers are going to mix into Central and South Florida as we get into the early morning hours, as we head into the early morning commute as well, for those of you that have to work on the weekend. This is what one of our commuter models is showing, and I think this is actually overdoing the rainfall totals because this storm really is just bringing a thread of moisture on through, but we'll take a look anyways. This is going to make its way into Central Florida into the early morning hours, and then South Florida during the evening commute, and into tomorrow evening down in Central and South Florida. For tonight's forecast, we're looking at 57 degrees with clearing skies after 9 or 10 o'clock. So if you're heading downtown to the Get Down tonight, you're going to see perfect conditions, especially for the end of that event downtown. For Central and South Florida, 70s are still in play there. For tomorrow, we're going to be bouncing right back up into the low 80s for most of Central Florida, right around the I-4 corridor, 81 in Tampa, near 90 degrees in South Florida, and it's November now. As we head into the Western Panhandle, you'll start to see those changes. 77 degrees in Pensacola, 80 degrees in Tallahassee for the mid-afternoon, and we're actually going to be seeing a drop in those temperatures into the 40s as we head into the tomorrow night forecast. So if you're going to the game tomorrow, or if you're going anywhere around the Panhandle, bring a coat, and you'll also actually want a couple of layers if you're heading out Sunday morning as well. Now we're going to go ahead and trade it over to Casey now with a look at the tropics really quick.
Thanks so much, John. Let's go ahead and take a look at your hurricane climatology. Here for the month of November, we see typically if we have any tropical cyclone develop, we would see that develop in the Caribbean and make its way through Cuba and out into the Atlantic Ocean. Though we're not watching anything at this time, current satellite and radar showing a little bit of moisture in the Gulf of Mexico, in fact, associated with the cloud cover north of the Yucatan Peninsula, but we're not tracking anything in the way of tropical development there. Taking a little bit closer look at that, we see that area of moisture south of New Orleans, again, not much of a threat, though that is associated with a cool front that is over parts of our area and is bringing some rain. A rain-cooled 75 degrees right now in the Tallahassee area at the present time. Now, in terms of your current winds at the time, we see that winds are a little bit gusty in Tallahassee. They've been like that pretty much all day, 12 miles per hour. But we should start to see nicer conditions in that forecast as we get into your Saturday in time for the big game against Miami tomorrow. Now, watches and warnings across the southeast right now, nothing in terms of watches and warnings in our area whatsoever. Not seeing any severe weather, not really expecting any, but we'll keep our eyes on it here just in case that does occur. Now, we do see some flood warnings for river flooding in areas near Houston and Beaumont, Texas, but not concerned with that in our area. Now, as we go ahead and take a look satellite and radar-wise across the southeast, we see Tallahassee getting into some of that moisture from the Gulf of Mexico associated with the cool front, and that is bringing some rain into the area and even some gusty conditions. Some areas could see upwards of an inch of rain, but again, not expecting anything in the way of severe weather in our area for the future, but we have seen some in the past. We've seen some in terms of a severe warning in areas around Thomas County, also a severe warning around areas like Mariana, though, on the fringes of our viewing area. Water vapor in the green, we see moisture on the graphic here, that's in the green, and that's showing moisture in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This brown area near Tupelo, Mississippi, Little Rock, Arkansas, Shreveport, Louisiana is going to try to make its way into our area, and that's going to bring nice conditions as we get in time for your game day on Saturday. Now, futurecast showing windy conditions across the Big Bend region now associated with the cool front. Low pressure system will make its way out into the Atlantic Ocean. Nice conditions for the game. If you're getting up early, make sure you go out and enjoy those conditions as you head toward college game day tomorrow morning. Now, making way through the day, we could get a little bit chilly, in fact, as we get around kickoff for your Saturday pretty big FSU game. Again, 57 degrees for tonight. Tomorrow, we'll see temperatures in the 80s, 80 degrees in Tallahassee. But right now, we'll take it over to Jack and Alex with a look at some space weather.
Yes, and we have something very cool which we haven't seen in the southeast for quite some time.
I know, Alex. It looks like a solar eclipse is coming up, correct?
Yes, a partial solar eclipse, and it's going to begin right after sunrise, early Sunday morning. So right after the game, it's going to be a very busy week.
I know. This weekend is looking great weather-wise, but including the solar weather. But here in Tallahassee, I hear it's not going to be as prevalent as it would be in Jacksonville, say.
Yes, because the beginning of the eclipse, the ring of fire, I should say, the part where you only see the outside of the sun, won't begin to happen until it leaves Jacksonville. So the majority of the eclipse is going to be over the Atlantic. However, we should start beginning to see maybe something like a crescent sun, if you know.
Well, if you're lucky enough, that'd be awesome to see. And if not, if you aren't in Tallahassee, that's definitely something maybe the viewers at home want to check out on their own.
Yes, very rare occurrence indeed.
But I believe it's time to send it on out to Raquel for our last local.
Thanks, Zach. Well, this is a live screenshot. I just want you to ignore the time there. This is not in motion. It's a live screenshot of the traffic that we saw earlier today on Call-In Stadium. And that is going to be the story for the next 24 hours as those people from Miami will be moving their way up here to see the UM versus FSU game. Now, our local radar is showing that cold front is making its way eastward, and we are actually being impacted right now by those rain bands. And that is, again, due to the cold front stretching all the way from Panama City and Tallahassee, all the way up to South Carolina. Now that cold front will not impact us tomorrow, so that rain will move out of its way tonight and leave us with beautiful conditions tomorrow. However, for those folks in Miami traveling up, you will be impacted by that storm. Current conditions right now, as I did mention, we are seeing those heavy rains and temperatures are on the mild side. We're at 75 degrees, and check out that dew point, 72. And that is, again, just due to the lot of moisture we do see in our area. So as I did mention, we're at 75 in Tallahassee, 73 in Quincy, and 74 in Wilma. Now those temperatures will be the same tomorrow, as we're not expecting too much heating. And our current dew points, as I did mention, is at 72 in Tallahassee. Dew points will fall tomorrow as we dry out. And that is, again, due to the cold front that's going to be moving out of our way. Now you can actually see it from the winds. The northerly winds just bringing out that dry air behind the cold front, and the southerly winds that's just continuing to fuel up that cold front from the south. So you do see that band of moisture. That southerly winds are just continuing to fuel up the water vapor, or the cold front, and that's really clearly indicated by the green we do see in our water vapor imagery. And then once it passes, we're going to continue to see that dry and sunnier conditions tomorrow. So what can you expect tonight? Temperatures will drop down to the 40s, and for tomorrow they will rise up to the 70s. So it will be a nice and clear day tomorrow. And once it's at kickoff, temperatures will drop down to 45 degrees. So I do suggest maybe wearing a light sweater during your daytime or your nighttime festivities. Kickoff is at 8 o'clock. For tonight's forecast, 57 degrees, a bit wet, and we will clear out as we head into the later evening hours. We are still seeing that rain. And for tomorrow's day planner, if you're going out to see the ESPN College Day game, if you are going to be moving out, making plans, just setting your plans in motion at 5 a.m., the rain will start to move out. You will be at 62 degrees. And then once game day begins, there's plenty of sunshine. So maybe just wear on those shades, and temperatures will be at this 61. Now that is, again, just due to a continuation of the temperatures dropping right before the sun rises. So that is why we see that temperature difference. And tailgate, you'll be seeing plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the 70s. So we're going to continue to see that sunshine for the weekend. Temperatures will start to fall slightly. And then once again, the warming trend, as I did mention, for November, we'll just start to see those temperatures rise up to the 80s later this week. Now I'm going to send it back off to Zach and Alex for them to wrap up the show.
Well, thank you, Raquel. It's a beautiful 7-day forecast, and we'll see that again in just a moment. But she did tease College Game Day, which is in town. They're set up on Langford Green, and actually all around the stadium, ESPN Radio is here as well.
Yes, looked a little gloomy today, but thank goodness it's not going to be that case tomorrow. And as far as I'm aware, I think this is our 3rd year in a row having College Game Day.
Yes, it is. I believe it was Oklahoma, Clemson, and now Miami. 3 big games for FSU, and we're 1-1 right now with Game Day, so let's see if we can make that 2-1.
Yes, and also I know another trend. Our game days have been very sunny each and every time, so I think that trend's going to continue, which is good news for Tallahassee.
But look at that 7-day forecast. There's the sun you were talking about. Goes into Sunday as well. A few clouds returning on Monday, but that rain chance very slight by the midweek.
Yes, it looks like another weather maker. Another front is going to be moving into our area then, but by then we're going to have mild temperatures. I'm assuming once the next weekend returns, we'll be seeing those temperatures drop.
Yes, it's looking great, but if you want to follow us on Twitter or friend us on Facebook. You can always watch the show anytime on livestream.com. But for your Friday newscast, I'm Zach Covey.
And I'm Alex Cordero. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a great one.